Okay, we have two matters that are left. Item number 3, SB 20 by Senator Pavley, and item number 17, SB 732 by Dr. Pan. At this time, I'd like the assistant to go through from item 1 through 15, call the absent members who have been here, and we'll get some of this done. Oh, yeah. Do I have a motion on the consent calendar? Oh, we did. Oh,
Yeah, so I'm going to lift the consent. I'll lift the consent calendar first, which is item 8, SB 207 Wykowski, item 11, SB 348 Galgiani, and item 15, SB 662. The motion is due pass and refer to Committee on Appropriations with consent recommendation. The chair voting aye. Absent members, Gaines? Aye. Gaines, aye. Leno?
Aye.
Leno, aye. 7-0. Item number 1, SB 122 by Senators Jackson and Hill. Motion due pass as amended and refer to Committee on Appropriations. Current vote is 5-0. Absent members, Gaines?
No.
Gaines, no. Bates? 6-0. She's still absent, huh? Okay. Item 2, SB 5 by Senator Vidak. The motion is due pass and refer to Committee on Appropriations. Current vote is 1-4 with the chair voting no. Absent members, Gaines?
Aye.
Gaines, aye. Leno?
No.
Leno, no. 2-5. That one is out.
So that one, no, that one's dead.
Or, well, it's, yeah.
The item number 2, SB 5, the final vote is 2-5. That matter fails.
Item 5, SB 162 by Senator Galgiani. The motion is due pass and refer to Committee on Appropriations. Excuse me. Current vote is 2-2 with the chair voting no. Absent members, Gaines?
Aye.
Gaines, aye. Jackson? Leno?
No.
Leno, no. 3-3, still on call.
Right. I'm going to wait for everybody to vote. Right. Or, yeah, I should wait to let them vote.
So that one's 3-3 and it's still on call.
Okay.
We're missing Jackson on that one.
Okay.
The one I just did was item 5.
Right, are we doing that?
Item 4 was
Pulled.
pulled by the author. Now we're on to item 6, SB 189 by Senator Hueso. The motion is due pass and refer to Committee on Appropriations. Current vote is 2-0 with the chair voting aye. Absent members, Gaines?
No.
Gaines, no. Bates? Hill?
Aye.
Hill, aye. Jackson? Pavley? Aye. Pavley, aye. So we're 4-1.
Okay.
Item number 7, SB 206 by Senator Gaines. The motion is due pass and refer to Committee on Judiciary. Absent members, Hill. I'm sorry, the current vote is 4-1 with the chair and the vice chair voting aye.
She's going to call you right now.
No, I just had a quick question.
Oh,
Is that appropriate, just to clarify, this is on the Gaines bill?
yes.
Yes.
I don't know if it was brought to the attention, I'm hoping the Judiciary Committee will read about it. There's some
Brad, I don't know that you're on.
Excuse me. It was brought to my attention that there's some concern, and perhaps the Judiciary Committee can, are you on that, Senator Leno?
We're both on.
We'll discuss it related to vehicle speed data. I think when they're looking at reducing GHGs, that's one of the elements that the Air Resources Board is looking at. I'm certainly sensitive to privacy issues and will be supporting Senator Gaines' bill here today. But I think their concern is valid, and maybe there's a way to address their concern that they want a certain kind of information, but put the parameters on it that's sort of respective of the goals that Senator Gaines has set out. So I'm just saying it needs to be addressed.
Mr. Chair.
We will, Senator Leonard, we will not have a discussion on that because we've already closed the
Okay.
public hearing on it. I'm
Suggesting
allowing
for today's vote,
the
sorry.
Senator Pavley to make a comment. We are in the middle of the roll call, so
Okay.
call the absent members. This is Mr. Gaines, or Senator Gaines, 206.
Right, and the motion is due pass and refer to Committee on Judiciary. Current vote 4-1 with the chair and the vice chair voting aye. Absent members Hill.
Aye.
Hill, aye. Pavley.
Aye.
Pavley, aye.
Okay, so it's
6-1.
it's an ex parte, but sorry. Let's pause on the housekeeping. We have Senator Pan who's here. Let's turn our attention to item number 17 on recycling beverage containers, SB 732. Good afternoon. We have hit the 4-hour mark.
But not for my bill alone. Okay. Good morning, Chair and members. I would like to begin by accepting the committee recommended amendments. And today I bring to you SB 732, bill that protects the environment and thousands of recycling jobs here in California. SB 730.
I don't think we had any committee amendments.
Oh, we didn't?
Yeah.
Clarification.
Okay.
Clarifications, I guess.
All right.
Sorry.
So there won't be any text changes. Yeah. There's no text changes.
The analysis was absolutely correct.
Going forward.
Okay.
Clarification intent, and if the language doesn't reflect that, it certainly should.
All right.
Okay.
Just so the members know what they're voting on, is that you're going to clarify for us, but that's,
Yes.
we're not changing any words in the text. So with
Right.
that
The bill
understanding,
language itself,
Senator, proceed.
Thank you. Thank you for the clarification. Okay. SB 732 sets a standard for recycled content for glass and plastic beverage container manufacturers to meet in order to qualify for a reduction in recycling fees mandated by the California Beverage Container Recycling and Litter Reduction Act, also known as the Bottle Bill. While most California beverage container manufacturers contribute to greenhouse gas reductions by using 50% recycled content, some companies undercut this effort by importing beverage containers that have only 35% recycled content. Drastic drops in oil prices have had the effect of undermining the demand and price for California-generated recycled materials. California recycled material processors and recycled product makers are starting to lose market share to out-of-state country virgin producers, especially in the PET plastic market. As for glass, there's an environmental benefit for increased use of recycled content. For every 1% increase in recycled content, there's a 1% decrease in greenhouse gas emissions at factories, as well as reductions in mining and processing virgin inputs. California glass container manufacturing facilities produce 1.2 million tons of glass bottles and employ 2,600 workers, down from more than 3,000 workers in 2001. Californians consume about 1.6 billion tons of glass containers. Many of the California's former glass container manufacturing jobs have moved to Mexico and overseas. This bill is needed because it will help incentivize increased utilization of recycled materials in manufacturing and protect California's 125,000 recycling-related jobs during a time of market instability. I have with me here today Mark Murray and Paula Treat to speak more about the issue and answer any technical questions. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, members, Mark Murray with the Environmental Group Californians Against Waste. California consumers are doing a great job recycling their beverage containers, setting them aside for recycling. The recovery rate for glass is 77%. The recovery rate for HDPE is 71%. The recycling rate for the PET soft drink bottles is 66%. The problem is the next step. And I think you're going to hear a lot about the problem from both the supporters and the opponents of this. There's a lot of agreement that there's a problem right now in terms of that next step. Now, whether you define that problem as a quality issue, whether you define it as a processing problem, whether you define it as insufficient markets, it's in that middle place where the problem exists. Now, California has had a minimum recycled content requirement for California manufactured glass bottles since the 1990s. Every California manufactured bottle already meets the 35% recycled content requirement that's in this bill. What this bill is proposing is that the law provides a benefit to beverage manufacturers in terms of a reduced processing fee. What this bill is saying is that in order to receive that benefit, that financial benefit of a reduced processing fee, you've got to meet the same minimum recycled content requirements that California manufacturers have been meeting for 20 years. If you're making that container out of state, that's fine. and you can continue to make that, and you don't even have to use recycled content. But you shouldn't receive the same financial benefit that a California glass manufacturer would receive under this bill when you're not meeting the same standard. So that's the concept in terms of glass, is evening the playing field. The majority of the glass containers are made in the state of California. It doesn't make sense to haul them all over the country. But there are glass containers that are made outside of the state, outside of the country, in Mexico. There are empty glass bottles that are produced in China and brought into the state of California. So the glass provision is designed to create an even playing field. In terms of the plastic, we have private sector plastic recyclers, folks that process the PET, the bales of PET. Here in California, we've got 10 or so of these companies. They've invested millions of dollars of their own money to create these recycling enterprises. They're losing money right now. They're in jeopardy of losing their businesses because the drop in oil prices has made the virgin raw material much cheaper than using the recycled material. So again, the provision of same exact concept, same exact incentive, only in this time we're actually having to establish the minimum recycled content requirement at 10% as really just kind of a first step. That 10% is saying you don't get this financial benefit unless you're meeting that 10% recycled content. Nobody has to use recycled content, but if you want to get this financial benefit of a reduced cost of recycling, a reduced processing fee, then you've got to meet that 10% recycled content. That's the simple provision of this bill. Urge an aye vote.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, members of the committee, Paula Treat. I'm representing the California Plastics Recyclers Coalition. So it's 10 companies, the 10 largest recyclers of PET in California. They're everywhere from the Central Valley to the Inland Empire. And they have invested millions in their production facilities to process PET. Instead of virgin PET, obviously it's recycled PET. Part of the problems that we have with large-scale exportation of PET bottles, because it jeopardizes existing investments and inhibits new ones, in addition to squandering opportunities for job creation and diverting valuable raw materials. As he said, the PET virgin is so much more reasonable in price right now. It's really hurting the retailers that are the recyclers who are doing the recycled PET. Replacing just 1 million pounds of virgin PET with recycled PET allows the reduction of 2.7 million pounds of CO2 equivalent. That's the same as having 200 cars removed from the roads today, or supplying 122 homes with energy. That's if it's 1 million. Our clients actually do 3 million tons a year. So it's taking a lot of cars off the street, and it's also reducing emissions along with valuable resources, protecting valuable resources. This bill helps protect the in-state manufacturers who are doing the right thing by leveling the playing field, creates a closed-loop recycling system, and it reduces greenhouse gases at the same time, while also supporting California jobs. We have over 1,000 green jobs with the 10 companies that I represent, and hopefully those jobs will grow. In the meantime, we urge an aye vote and thank Dr. Pan for taking this on.
Next.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. Dawn Kepke with McHugh Kepke & Associates on behalf of Strategic Materials, one of the largest glass processors both here in California and nationally. We also are pleased to support the bill, and I am happy to answer any questions related to glass or address any concerns related to glass. Thank you.
We'll hold on that for a while. Others in support of SB 732, please come forward.
Kelly Didon on behalf of California League of Conservation Voters in support.
All right. Let's turn our attention to the opposition. Those opposed to SB 732, please come forward.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Robeson. I'm here on behalf of the Glass Packaging Institute. The Glass Packaging Institute is the trade association of all the glass bottle manufacturers in the country. I think many of you might know this already. There's currently 5 glass manufacturing plants in California. They are the largest user of recycled glass from well, whether it's in the program or not in the program, they're the largest user of recycled glass in California, and they can't get enough of it. As the sponsor and the author alluded to, the California plants do meet the current law requirement of 35% recycled content standard. In fact, they go higher than that. But they would go higher than where they're at today. There just is not enough supply. There's not enough quality cullet. It's not necessarily that there's not a lot of cullet. I'm sorry, cullet is recycled glass. I should back up and actually stop using terms. It's a weird term anyway. But there's just not enough of it, quality material in California to meet the demands of what they want. As all the proponents said, there's enough incentive for glass manufacturers to use recycled glass. There's already the incentive is there. You don't need a law to tell them to do it. It does lower their emissions. It lowers their furnace temperatures. It extends the life of their furnaces. There's a lot of reasons why they want to do this, and they do it. And they want to do it in all their plants across the nation. The problem is there's not a supply across the nation either. And again, I'm going to reiterate, they would go higher in California if the quality supply existed. If furnace quality cullet was available, they would go high. They would do it. What this bill does is puts a mandate on the same companies that are operating here are operating in the other states, and it puts a mandate on those companies that they're gonna have to meet this California standard, and they probably wouldn't be able to meet that. And as a result, they would lose under this bill. They would lose their processing fee offset, which I think is actually the goal of the sponsor. Is they actually want us to lose our processing fee offset and actually increase our manufacturing costs, despite everything else that's been said. Ultimately making the glass bottle more expensive, and the glass bottle is already already at competitive disadvantage to other container types in the container marketplace. The glass bottle is in the beverage program, and it is already in California already meeting the 35% standard. And the containers that they compete against, there are containers that they compete against that aren't in the program. There's aseptic containers, pouches, and cartons that have been debated about being into this program, being into the beverage container program over the years, and still aren't in the program. So there's a lot of things that you could do in this bill. There's a lot of things you could do with this program, and I'm just going to run through some things here really quick. But you could, before putting another disadvantage on the glass container industry and their union jobs, you could look at other container types and start leveling the playing field on those container types, put them in the program, that kind of a thing. You could deal with the quality issue. The quality of cullet is, and quality and price kind of go hand in hand. And I could hand this out if the sergeant wants to do this, but I think I've shown this picture to a lot of people. This is a pile of what I'm handing out is a pile of glass that the processor it's coming now. No, that's a different one. That's a different. Yeah, competing pictures. They're all from the same place, but different. They're showing a different viewpoint. I'm assuming the one I'm showing is different. The one I'm showing is a pile of glass that the processor receives from the material recovery facility. So you guys, everybody puts their stuff in the bin. The bin gets in the truck. It gets all contaminated with paper. It goes to the MRF. The MRF separates it the best they can, which is not very good. And so that what they give the processor is this big pile of quote glass, which is probably, I mean, they could come up and tell what the percentage is, but I defy you to find some glass in that picture. And so what the poor processor has to do is they have to run that through their facility 2 times to clean it up to a degree that we could use it in our furnaces. So it's a very expensive process and adds to the expense of a glass container manufacturer to make their product, which adds to the expense of what the container manufacturer would sell to the beverage manufacturer. And so we're already at this, competitive disadvantage to other container types. And this bill, limited supply in California, the fact is that most quality cullet is in California. If we're gonna have to export it to other states, you're just gonna make it more expensive. Incidentally, you will make it more profitable for the one company in the whole Western United States that actually supplies the cullet to all the glass manufacturers. It's good for them, but it's just gonna make our product more expensive. And when we sell it to the beverage manufacturers, they have a choice. Do we want super expensive glass? Do we want aluminum that looks like glass? Do we want plastic? Do we want aseptic containers? Do we want boxed wine? Do we want, they have options. And so the glass plants in the state of California don't like the bill. And so it's not going to help in-state manufacturing. The workers in the glass plant workers, they don't like the bill. They unfortunately aren't here today. We don't think it solves the problem that that the author wants to solve. And we'd suggest you maybe hold the bill in committee, take a more holistic look at the recycling program, see what we can do to make the program better. Maybe deal with the issue on the front end, make it cheaper for the glass processor to make their process cheaper, so that we can the price problem for glass containers or for recycled glass, maybe we could address that issue on the front end rather than trying to force something down our throats on the back end. So I respectfully would urge holding the bill in committee or a no vote.